Okay, good. One of the most popular artists he's called in Israel the painter of the Tanakh, the artist of the Tanakh, is Yossi Rosenstein. His artwork is featured in museums and in galleries around the world, and in sync with, thank you Reza very much, in sync with tonight's Living Torah. If you didn't watch it, Living Torah tonight is about how everyone has different talents that God gave them. And the Rebbe says that unless you know for certain that you're not meant to use it, the rule of thumb is that if God gave you a certain talent, you have to use that talent in the service of God. As the Torah says, B'chol derechecha, in all your ways, you should know God. So on that same note, I want to share a story tonight about the Yossi Rosenstein's story, as he shared in an article to Kfar Chabad magazine. Basically, he comes from a long line of rabbis, and he's from Bnei Brak, but his family comes from Yerushalayim. On his father's side, he's a 9th generation of Hasidic Rebbes, and his mother's side, he is a 5th generation of other rabbis come from the Vilna Gaon. He was born in Yerushalayim, and he learned in one of the top yeshivas in the Litvische and Lithuanian yeshivas, and in the Panovich and in Hebron, in Yerushalayim yeshiva in Hebron. So with this talent that he received in the 70s, he began seeing unusual success. All of his paintings were featured in various galleries, and he believes that his success is due to the fact that he specifically told this manager of this gallery, I don't know what the right word is, not an artist, the one running the gallery, he told them that you have to make sure that you're not going to sell any of my paintings on Shabbos. And he was featured in Aberback Fine Art in Madison Avenue, and he really, really saw a lot of success. And his artwork is really throughout the world. He's like one of the top people that make paintings about the Tanakh. Interesting thing he said about the Rebbe. He said, I will not make a painting of the Rebbe because whatever I'm going to draw in my artwork, it's going to limit who the Rebbe is, and therefore I can't make a painting of him. So he was living in New York, and he was sitting in the gallery one day, and there were a couple of people there, and there was a Chabad chassid who visited the gallery. He used to come there every Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, and he used to play chess with the owner of the gallery. And while they're playing chess, this guy comes in, a man of means, looks at the different paintings, and he sees one painting that is expressing a theme, a verse of the Tanakh. He looks at the painting, and he says, I'm not really sure I want to get this painting, but I don't know if it's sacrilegious or not to have a painting that expresses a verse of the Torah. Maybe it's the wrong thing. So this Chabad chassid, who's playing chess, he looks up and he says, 1 second. There's a very easy way to figure this out. Just ask the Rebbe. Ask the Rebbe if this is okay or it's not okay. So the guy says, that's a good idea. So the Chabadnik took the catalog of all the paintings in this gallery, and he gave it to the Rebbe. The Rebbe looked at the catalog, and the Rebbe said, please keep this. I want to hold on to this because I want to bring this to the ohel of my father. So you could see that the Rebbe really valued what Yossi Rosenstein was doing with his artwork, and of course this guy bought that painting. So the Chabadnik, he really wanted to bring Yossi Rosenstein to the Rebbe for a private audience. Seeing how the Rebbe valued his artwork, he really thought this must be something that has to get done. Anyway, so Yossi Rosenstein says, I would be happy to meet the Rebbe, but the Chabadnik's like, no, not so fast. In order to meet the Rebbe, you have to go to a farbrengen of the Rebbe first. You have to go to a Hasidic gathering first. So he found himself with his 4-year-old son at the one Saturday night. There was a farbrengen, and he went on for many hours, and he was amazed to see how his 4-year-old son was just like glued the whole time to the Rebbe. And at the end of the farbrengen, after many hours, he went together with his son, and his son went over to the Rebbe and shook the Rebbe's hand, and he said, "Rebbe, be healthy and strong, and never get sick." Rebbe looked at him and looked at his son, and he was taken by the Rebbe's look, and he decided, I need to be here. I need to be connected to this man. Anyways, he was invited by the Rebbe's secretariat to come for an audience. He called him up and said, "Yossi, come right away, come quickly." So he comes to 770 at the appropriate time. He waits for 2 hours for an audience with the Rebbe. And at that audience, the Rebbe told him that he needs to develop the talent that he has. The Rebbe said to him that the talent of being a painter, being an artist, an artist is a gift from God, and you have to use it for the benefit of the Jewish people. And the Rebbe said to him, don't just keep this talent for yourself, to use this talent for others as well, and you should make a school for artists to learn how to paint, because among the religious world as well, the Rebbe said, there are those who are talented, but they don't have a place to study. There are Jewish religious men and women, in other words, that are talented artists, and they don't have a place to learn. So Yossi said, I didn't know what the Rebbe meant at that time. And I asked myself, can I really run a school? Is that something I want to do? The Rebbe didn't tell him exactly when to start. So just like, put in the back burner in his mind. And the day he came back to Israel, he was invited to this klezmer evening, a musical evening. And at this evening, there was a man named Zvulun Hammer, who at that time was the minister of education in Israel. And Zvulun Hammer turns to him and he says, Yossi, I heard that you're really successful in the world of art. Why don't you make a school for teaching art to young people, teach people how to draw? So at that moment, it clicked what the Rebbe told him. He didn't hesitate for a moment, and he said to this minister, I will do this, but on condition that this is a school for religious people. It means there should be men and women should be separate, and I don't want to learn about the history of the artists. Rather, I want to teach them the history of the art itself, and how to make art. And he says the Haredi community, the religious community, doesn't have a place. It's you guys, you're not religious people. You have all kinds of places you can study about art, but the Haredi, the religious community, doesn't have any. And I'm willing to make an art school, but on condition that it's just for religious people and done in a religious way, separate men and women. So Zvulun Hammer says, you know what, you're right. And he felt, said Yossi said, I felt that the Rebbe was speaking through his throat. And I had no idea about how to run a school. And the officers, the members of the office of education, they guided him throughout this whole process. They gave him a budget and they helped him. And his school developed into a network of schools for art, one of the top networks of schools in Israel. He started off with first a girls' school, and then he opened actually a school in Shikun Chabad, in the Chabad neighborhood in Lud. He said since this whole network was made just because of the Rebbe's inspiration, so he said that there's a network of schools, but this school, since it's in the Chabad neighborhood, and this has been inspired by the Rebbe, so I should teach in that school. So he himself started teaching there, and after that school started getting hundreds of girls come to that school and made already dozens of galleries, Rosenstein decided to learn from the Rebbe system of Chabad houses, he said, and let them run it themselves. Anyways, but like Chabad centers aren't run directly by Chabad headquarters. Each Chabad center is run by itself. So that's what he decided to start in his galleries, in his art schools as well. Anyways, he said one year, it was the second night of Hanukkah, he got a surprise telephone call from Rabbi Shmuel Gutman, and he asked him to come immediately from Borough Park to Fifth Avenue, and to get there to light the world's largest menorah. So he had 45 minutes to get there, and he started to fly, as he said, on the street. And as an Israeli, he didn't take with him his coat, and he got there at the last moment. He stopped his car, and he goes up to I'm not sure what they use in the Fifth Avenue menorah, the cherry picker or something like that, to get up there. But as soon as he got up there, and he only has this little jacket, he started to shake because he was so cold. And it was very difficult, he said, to say the brachas. And he started to light the candles, and there's a special thing that he was using that they used there to light the menorah, so the wind shouldn't blow it out. But whatever he was using, this container that he was using, he couldn't let go of it because it was so cold. It just became attached to him. So with all of his might, he said, I got back to my car and I put on the heat. But after 30 minutes, I started to thaw out a little bit, and I was able to pull my hand off the metal container. And afterwards, I went to my hotel, and I got a fever for a week. And he said, I'm not sure where this comes from. This is what he said. It was told to me, as what he said, from the Rebbe's office, don't get arrogant. I guess what that meant was that he did a really heroic act, but don't feel so great about yourself. I'm not sure exactly what the story is behind it. That's what he said. He also said that he met many tzaddikim, many rabbis, but from the Rebbe, he said he learned how to look at the world. He said, for example, he asked the Rebbe for a blessing for success, and the Rebbe gave him a very unusual advice for success. The Rebbe said that you should always try to be a spider and not an ant. He didn't know what the Rebbe meant. The Rebbe explained. The Rebbe said an ant does one job and stays on that one job. But a spider is a little more independent, a little more original. It weaves a web from east to west and north to south. And in other words, I was saying to him, think big. Don't focus on just one little thing. Be open to other things so that you're able to, fulfill your mission in this world. And he said that this advice of the Rebbe really gave him a lot of. He thought about this parable about the ant and the spider many times, and the more he delved into it, he understood that although a spider has more eyes and sees better than an ant, who is almost blind, but the spider doesn't only use its eyes. The spider also feels the tension in the web, and that tension is what guides it. In other words, don't only live just with your eyes. Don't judge people just the way they appear to you. You also have to use your sensitivity to be able to feel people. And Yossi says that's what I do today when I speak to someone. I try to feel them out, not just when someone calls me on the phone. He says I don't know who the person is. I feel that I feel who the person is. He says, even though I don't know what they look like. And that's something he said that the Rebbe, it's not Ruach HaKodesh, not divine inspiration. I don't have divine inspiration, but he feels that this was something that the Rebbe guided him especially to sense, like the spider, not just to see with your eyes. He said this advice, be like a spider, really gave him a lot of guidance even today. He made many paintings about Judaism and about the Tanakh, and more lately he makes more realistic photos which are somewhat connected to Judaism. And he said, I learned this from the Rebbe, be like a spider, not like an ant. So therefore he's developing his field, not just to Tanakh, not just to Judaism, but also to more realistic photos and connecting them also to Judaism. Bottom line is that wherever we are in the world, whatever Hashem has given us, we have to use that talent and not to be squeamish, not to be bashful about it. On that same note, I'll just show one more story. One of the emissaries to England is Rabbi Vogel. Rabbi Vogel once visited the Rebbe for a farbrengen, and he really wanted to be close up and to hear the Rebbe, but he was not successful, and he was far away, and he was thinking, like, I can't hear one word the Rebbe is saying. Should I open a chumash? Should I learn something? Is it respectful to learn something? And at this, so he couldn't hear anything, and the Rebbe finished the gathering, and after the gathering, the Rebbe distributed wine, koshel bracha, from the wine of blessing. When Rabbi Vogel came by the Rebbe said, "Where were you? I was looking for you." The Rebbe said, "Enough being nechbal akel." Nechbal akel means being squeamish or being bashful, being, keeping to yourself. The next day, the Rebbe gave out dollars. When he passed by the Rebbe by dollars, the Rebbe said, the main success you have is by not being nechbal akel, by not being, bashful. So the next Shabbos, based on the Rebbe's instruction, he got a couple of friends who were a little bit more muscular than he was, and they muscled him in to get a place right in front of the Rebbe. He was able to hear and a wondrous, amazing gathering. And the next day, when he passed by the Rebbe said, "Thank you for not being nechbal akelim. Thank you for not being squeamish." And he says himself that all the success he has in England as the Rebbe's emissary there, it's always the success he always sees is when he's not nechbal akelim. He's not just squeamish. He stands up and he goes out there, and that's how he gets the job done. So just another amazing thing is that he's there, among thousands of people, and Rebbe said, "I didn't see you." Rebbe's, when you watch the videos of the Rebbe's farbrengen, Rebbe looks around, not looking around. Rebbe's seeing every single person. Where were you? Anyways, bottom line is, the idea I'm trying to present tonight is that to be like a spider, not like an ant, and to think about where Hashem has placed us in the world, and to think of the mission that Hashem has given us where we are, in the circumstances that we're in, the time that we're in, the place that we're in. The Shabbos, we're talking about how Tzemach Tzedek told this chassid who wanted to move to Israel, "Make here Israel," and how the Rebbe says that means to focus on the time and the place and the circumstances that you're in, and to give your all into where you are. But it's not a contradiction to this idea of being a spider, because when you focus on where you are completely, it has a ripple effect to many, many other things, and connects to, in the words of the Rebbe, to spread to the east and the west, north and the south. Bottom line, to think about the talents that God gave us, the circumstances God gave us, and to invest ourselves to make here Eretz Yisrael, to make this moment holy. And this is the best way we could tip the scale and bring Mashiach immediately. And so that these days, the 3 weeks, should be transformed to sasun, to joy and happiness, and to a yontif. And it was a good vach, a freilich vach, Michal David, freilich vach, David.